What historical figure do you think, if they survived their assassination, would have left the most profound and lasting impact? Find all the secret numbers hidden in the video and post it in the comment with your username to get a chance to win a $50 gift card each month. Jesus Christ not being crucified certainly would change a lot. Lincoln, I'd just want to see what he would have done if John Wilkes Booth never assassinated him. Jesus. Killing him was a bad idea. Then his corpse disappeared. Archduke Ferdinand. Given more time, a less violent solution could have been found between the Serbs and the Austria-Hungarian Empire. Then no WW1. Or at least possibly not as large or deadly. Franz Ferdinand? Like he himself wouldn't impact the world. But him surviving would at least prevent World War I, right? Julius Caesar. All subsequent history would have been very different. The Republic continuing. No emperor. Europe, Eurasia and Northern Africa all different. Couple people said JFK. And I agree. But my first thought was his brother, Robert. His positions on Vietnam, nuclear proliferation, poverty, human rights, etc., would be vastly different compared to Nixon, and makes me interested to see what America would turn into if he were elected instead. If he would have been drowned, we'd all have a mini aquarium on our walls? Well, isn't the whole idea that he did survive his assassination and rised again? Even if it was just for a long weekend with no touching? If he hasn't survived, I'd say that would change things more. Reconstruction would have never been overseen by a Southern Dixiecrat racist. He wanted to take out the CIA. Imagine an America where we didn't have drugs run into our inner cities, destroying the previously strong structure of poor families. Imagine more kids growing up with both parents in their home. Imagine less history with witnessing drug addiction as children, likely leading to increased rates of opioid use, which is also impacted by the emotional turmoil caused by these childhoods. Had JFK been successful against the CIA after not dying, he'd have an enormous effect. Mark Antony, for that matter. Cleopatra's life would have determined the fate of the Egyptian dynasties for generations to come. But Antony could have completely changed how the Roman Empire ended up being structured. That affects everyone in the West basically. Edit. Although technically both were more suicides than assassinations. Cleopatra's, of course, was more tangibly coerced given the circumstances. You won't believe what happened next. His skin turned white and his hair uncurled. And in turn there would have been no Treaty of Versailles and no Hitler undoing it and no WW2. Europe was a powder keg. If Franz Ferdinand wasn't assassinated, something else would have been the spark. More girls would have nightmares of his togas in bed? You could argue he was too far ahead of his time, but then again not much seems to have changed. MLK may have had a less of an impact without being a martyr. Ironically, his death may have had a more profound and lasting impact. Name one still living civil rights activist from memory. Quote anything they said without looking it up. Makes me think of W. H. Auden's poem, Elegy for JFK, which could be applied to King as well. When a just man dies, lamentation and praise, sorrow and joy, are one. Why then? Why there? Why thus? We cry. Did he die? The heavens are silent. What he was. He was. What he is fated to become depends on us. Remembering his death. How we choose to live will decide its meaning. When a just man dies, lamentation and praise, sorrow and joy, are one. Now I wish it had been a stake burning. Then we could have dope spring bonfires. Not just the CIA but secret organizations as well, like the Illuminati and other groups of power. JFK was truly set to be one of the best and most influential presidents in history, and then the CIA got mad that he'd shut them down, so they took him out. Rosa Parks is either still around or was until recently. The same can likely be said of Kennedy. His assassination cemented his legacy and covered over some of the more scandalous details of his personal life. I doubt he'd have been remembered quite as fondly had he not been killed. No, no, no. All the pagan symbols are supposed to be subverted in Christianity. Bonfires, but you have to cry some? Edit. Bonfires, but you drop some sins into the fire for old GZC?